Rightio, guys. Welcome back poolside here to Court 1 in the afternoon on the fourth day of the fourth CMAS Age Group World Championships here in Hobart, Tasmania, as we count down just over 2 minutes to go until this under-23 men's grudge match between Colombia versus Australia is about to start. You can see the Australians there with Coach Nick Martin giving the lads a bit of a pep talk. Just to quickly go through where these teams are positioned on the ladder at the moment. Colombia in third position with Turkey in second and New Zealand in first. And then the Australian men in fifth position. Both teams have actually played 5 and won 3, lost 2. But the Colombians have scored 22 goals, 4 with 9 against, and the Australians have only scored 20 goals with 8 against. That being the difference at the moment. All of them have got the same points, very close between Colombia, France and Australia up until this point of the competition, with Turkey and New Zealand both having lost no games so far. Those two teams I think will be playing off later today. You can see the Aussies there just getting to the back wall. Tommy Milner in the shot, number 1, and number 8, I think, Connor in the shot there. I know the Australian lads will be very keen to take the bull by the horns early in this game and really establish their game plan on this game that is about to start. I know the Colombians will probably be going to do exactly the same thing. Funny old thing, I can't actually see the Colombians in the pool yet, which is interesting. They're certainly not on the back wall, and they're not in the sub bench either. I can only imagine they must be just about to dive in with only 45 seconds to go on this until this game starts. This is Colombia, Australia. It's up to you. A second guy would be good, but yeah, if you want to do it, mate, that's fine. 30 seconds to go now. The whistle has been blown. You can see the Colombians getting in the water, so they are taking their time. They've probably just been doing a bit of a land warm-up. I think they're going to come together for a bit of a cheer here. They better get their act together because only 15 seconds until the game is going to start. Bienvenidos a los colombianos en Colombia y los todos personas en Sudamérica. Bienvenidos todos. As we count down, as time begins and the kickoff starts, the Colombians literally leaving it to the last second until they swim into that middle puck. As we're hopefully going to switch to a camera that is under the water. The referee has already called an infringement. It's going to be interesting to see. I think the Colombians might have had one too many players in the pool there. I don't know if they've been called for breaking or if they've been called for an infringement. A Colombian player is swimming to the sin bin. So number 1 for Colombia, Jordan Ajala, is going to spend a minute in the sin bin for an illegal subbing infringement. Unfortunately, that's the kind of stuff that happens when you take way too long to set up your team. As I'm joined in the commentary box here by Dave Lambert. How you going, Dave?
Yeah, not too bad, Stuart. I'm just filling in why your support commentator from the Kiwi side is going to come down and join you for this exciting game. And I always love watching an Australian-Colombian game. There's always emotions, and the Colombians always comes with emotions, Stuart, but I know the Australians like playing against the Colombians, but it's a lot of levels of emotions. We're good friends outside the court, but in the court, it's every person for themselves.
Yeah, that's right. There is definitely a lot of good relationships versus or between the Colombians and the Australians out of the water, but a fierce rivalry and a fierce competition in the water. As you can see there, a lot of rocking and rolling going on. There's a lot of frees being called up by the referees initially as number 11 for Colombia. Juanes Castaño gets a warning for a deliberate chopping foul on the Aussies. The Aussies are going to have an advantage puck in the center of the pool here, Dave.
Yeah, at this level of excitement in the game, or sort of the intensity of the game, these little fouls creep into that. Puck moves very quickly, and your stick accidentally, and unfortunately he was on the end of that, and the Australians haven't capitalized on that by giving the puck straight back to the Colombians and being forced back onto the defensive foot, Stuart.
Yeah, not surprisingly, the Colombians have obviously got a lot of oxygen in their lungs at the moment. Another free puck against Australia here, and the Colombians do tend to come out of the box kicking hard and swimming hard. So not surprisingly, there's a lot of Colombian guys on the bottom at the moment, and the Australians are getting pushed back into the defensive half. It's going to be interesting to see if the Australians can soak up this pressure and do some good defending here, Dave.
Yeah, some a nice defensive play by the Australians, but advantage is being played. I'm not sure for Hugh, but it's being signaled up, and we're having a goal scored here already by the Colombians. And I see number 13, Stuart, has scored that goal for Colombia.
Yeah, number 13, Kui Upegui, has put that first goal in for the Colombians. Well done, Kui, for a very hard-fought goal against a tough defensive Australian opposition there. The Colombians just really executed that attacking play very well early, and you can see they're generating a lot of energy in the water there, Dave.
Yeah, they are. That was a beautifully executed planned play on a free puck where they took total possession of the puck, moved it in, faked one way, drew in the defenders another way, and the players were lulled into a sense of security, and then the goal was popped in by number 13. And we see this play has already started again with the Australians trying to gain some control of the puck, moving the puck from player to player and trying to find their players with swimming. But the Colombian game is Yep, and it looks like I'm going to be switched in, Stuart, by the gentleman, I think his name,
Ian.
Ian, he's going to come in and do it. He's just come out of the pool. He's really keen to do this with you, Stuart, because he enjoys it. But I enjoy it too as the Colombians press, and I'll give it back to you, and I'll swap out, Stuart. So have a good day, everyone.
No worries. As the Aussies get a reprieve here, the Colombians were pushing in deep attack for those guys. The Australians right on the back foot defensively. As you can see there, number 4 for Colombia, Manuel Zapata, in the camera vision there. The Australians will have the advantage puck. And it was interesting, the referee was indicating a dangerous flick or unsportsmanlike behaviour, but didn't send anyone out of the court. So maybe that was just a warning for one of the Colombian players. The Australians will get an advantage puck in the deep right-hand side defensive area as Ian from the under-23 USA team, he's the coach of those guys, joins me in the commentary box. G'day, Ian.
Okay. Hi, Stu. Thanks very much.
And I know you just got out of the water, mate, so I'll just recap you. It's 1-0, the Colombians leading the Australians in this under-23 men's division. Both teams are putting down a fierce competition on the bottom of the pool there, as you see the referees calling an obstruction foul on the Colombians and the Australians getting another advantage puck here, Ian.
Yeah, it looks like some very fast action going on up and down the pool. Doesn't seem to be like anyone taking control of the game right now. Colombia seems to have been lucky just to get a goal.
Yeah, the Aussies have definitely been doing more defending than attacking. The Colombians have certainly been putting a lot of offensive pressure on the Australian team as, again, the referees call an infringement. This time it's going to be a stick infringement on the Colombians. They'll push them back. The Australians will get another advantage puck. Be interesting to see if the Aussies leave this puck over on the far side or if they swing it around and come onto this near side. But yes, the Australians starting to initiate some attacking moves in this game here, Ian.
Yeah, so they started to pull it wide, but then sort of went into the goal channel to try and keep it in the middle of the pool, where all the Colombians sort of moved across to. So it seems to be look like Colombia's actually taken that puck, but it seems like another call.
Yeah, another infringement call by the refs again on the Colombians for obstruction this time as the Australians creep closer and closer, basically via the infringement call as the referees. You can see there they've got an advantage puck in the centre of the pool, just past the halfway line. You can see their structure setting up pretty centrally as that puck gets swum to the right-hand side of the defensive Colombian structure. Lots of players on the bottom as it swings out to the near side here. And the Aussies trying to just sort of drive that puck through the centre channel, but they get met by a whole bunch of very determined Colombian defenders who take it to the far side of the court there, Ian.
Yeah, it seems to be a frantic pace right now.
Yeah, a lot of frantic speed, a lot of bodies getting thrown around as again an infringement is called this time against Australia. Number 5 there. Is Alex Barnes-Cogan gets a warning for obstruction. The referees are hot on that obstruction call at the moment. A couple of players from both sides have had personal warnings, so I'm sure the poolside ref is keeping track of which one of those players has been given the warnings this time, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, for this time into the game, it seems to be a lot of calls by the referee, so if this sort of pace of fouling continues, it looks like we might see some people into the sin bin.
Yeah, probably. It's one of the functions of pace of the game. Funny old thing, if both teams are playing very fast, very aggressively, both teams are getting a lot of infringements called for and against, and it's not surprising that the referees are trying to sort of clean this game up a little bit by giving out some personal warnings of particular fouls, as again, an obstruction foul is called on the Colombians here. They get a quick, fresh sub in, a nice speedy sub there by that first guy, and a little bit of a tardy sub by the second Colombian as the Aussies set up for an advantage puck in the far right-hand corner there, Ian.
And it looks like we have all the players down, battling for possession. Looks like a surge by the Australians, but Colombia possibly just stopping that, with Australia looking to drive again, looking to drive it wide.
Yeah, the Aussies doing a nice little switch of play around to the near side of the tray there, basically taking that puck all the way onto the goal side, and the Colombians just carrying out a desperate knockdown and doing a really good job of defending that Australian attack on that tray there, Ian.
Yeah, it was very impressive. And it looks like the referee there signaling an advantage, and now they've called, looks like another obstruction against Colombia again.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how many obstruction calls against Colombia it's going to take those referees before they start giving them a team warning and throwing people out. I'm actually quite happy that they're not doing that at the moment, because the game is still flowing quite nicely. The Australians are getting the advantage puck when it's relevant. They are still playing advantage. And it'll be interesting to see how the Aussies use this advantage puck right in front of their attacking tray there, Ian.
Yeah, and they're looking to drive it straight down the middle there. Looked like all the players were down again, and another call this time.
This one's gloving against the Australians, so they'll get pushed back. The Colombians will be pretty happy about that. They've definitely been soaking up a lot of attacking pressure that the Australian team has been putting them under, and well done to the Colombians for soaking up that pressure there, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, looks like they've there's a coach's timeout. Coach should be probably talking to the Colombians, trying to settle them down a little bit, tell them that they're actually doing a really good job on defense, but try and get some drives going. You know, they haven't had much in this last 4 minutes or so. It seems to be all Australia that's applying the pressure.
Yeah, at the moment they are. I mean, initially for the first few minutes, up until the Colombians scored that goal, the Colombians were basically all attack and zero defense, or defending by attacking. And now the Australians have slowly but surely sort of wrestled the dictatorship of this game, sort of probably slightly in their favour. They definitely are dictating the flow of the game, even though they are one goal down at the moment they're in.
Yeah, it seems to be all Australia right now, but Colombia does have the advantage puck just outside their goal, and they're looking to drive it against the far wall.
Yeah, they swim aggressively over to that far side there, maintaining possession as, again, referees calling the Colombians on obstruction. Interesting to see where that obstruction call goes, I think, as the clock ticks down here, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's probably been 5 or 6 in the last few minutes, so you would think that there would be a team warning possibly soon. And, there we actually see number 4 for Colombia being sent to the sin bin.
Yeah, number 4 for Colombia, Emmanuel Zapata, being called on obstruction and being sin bin for a minute there. Not surprisingly, as Ian said, there's probably been 5 or 6 obstruction calls go against Colombia in quick succession. So again, the referees have started to penalise them with players in the bin as the Colombians drive that far side there, Ian.
Yeah, but knowing the Colombians, now that they're a man down, that they try even harder. So I've seen them score with one player less in the pool than their opposition before, so you can't really count them out. And
no, that's right. The Australians definitely cannot afford to relax. They certainly have to keep on pressing their numerical advantage as they go for a nice swim out to the far right-hand side and just draw those Colombian team members all the way into the attacking corner. I don't think they're going to be able to score off this drive, but I reckon they'll be looking to establish the Colombian structure over in that corner and then hopefully rip it out and around as they go for a nice drive into the centre channel. And Australian has picked that puck up and he's met there by a lot of Colombian defenders. He just desperately tries to get that puck at the tray, but some good sweeps by those Colombian defenders there, Ian.
Yeah, you saw the support come down and really apply a lot of pressure on that Aussie drive. And they're just managing to get a few bodies down. Australia looking to disrupt by getting defenders down, and looks like Australia have just managed to get possession, but it's very back and forth right now, and Colombia getting another little breakout, and you can see they've got 3 players down supporting each other for that drive, one on either side.
Yeah, that's right. When the Australians missed that goal opportunity and the puck came out right underneath the Colombian sub-bench, they basically had at least 2, maybe 3 subs at once, and they got a lot of fresh players in there, which basically put a lot of attacking pressure on the Australian defence. You can see they've been pushed all the way back to their defensive left-hand corner here, right underneath their sub-bench, so they'll probably look to get a couple of fresh subs in here as well, Ian, and we'll see what happens in the next 10 or 20 seconds.
Yeah, you can see the Aussie backs cycling in, trying to get in behind to get in a good position, but it looks like Colombia have looked to pull it wide and swing around to that far side of the goal for an attack.
Yeah, they definitely are putting a lot of attacking pressure as the Australians take the puck back to their sub-bench side. The buzzer has gone. The referees have called something up. It looks to me like it's going to be an illegal knockdown called against the Australians, so the Colombians will get an advantage puck right in front of the defensive goal tray here. The Australians are going to have to do some quality defending to keep these Colombian piranhas out of their goal tray there, Ian.
Yeah, sure, Stu. But it looks like Colombia are also back to 6 again, so this should be a good attacking opportunity for them. And their coach has called a timeout.
Yeah, it is a team timeout. The Colombian coach, Alexander Salazar, otherwise known as Marque, is chosen this opportunity to have a timeout, not a bad tactical move. He wants his guys to really understand how to sort of employ their tactics in this advantage puck here, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, they could even be calling a little set play here, that to try and drive towards the goal, pull the defense over to them, and then look to quickly swing it around to their support.
Yeah, that's right. As we count down the last 15 seconds of this timeout, quickly looking at the live chat, Stephen Keegle saying, let's give it to him, Marco and Andreas, Camilo Betancourt, Vamos Colombia, y Juan Pablo Arias, Eso El Beta, and Colin Heffer, let's go Aussies. So let's see what these two teams will do here, Ian.
Yeah, and as you see, every player was down there, so they're really looking for, on the Colombian side, really attacking really hard, and on the Aussie side, really defending hard. As you can see it pushed to the back wall there, and it looks like another foul, this time a gloving foul against the Colombians. So that'll relieve a little bit of pressure, but there's still a lot of pressure on the Aussie team there.
Yeah, it's amazing how much this game just keeps on swinging. Like 1 minute the Aussies are peppering the goal tray of the Colombians and making them answer a lot of defensive questions, and then basically 20 seconds later the Colombians have got the puck all the way down on the Australians' defensive goal tray and asking them those same questions. Both teams doing a lot of good defending, but a lot of very extended, very stretched defending as well, like the puck getting taken all the way to the lip of the tray on a number of occasions at both ends of the pool. So this game is definitely going to be anyone's to take here, Ian.
Yeah, and after some rather free-flowing play and not many calls, there's actually been a few more calls in the last couple of minutes, but as we count down to the last 2 minutes of this half, it's been fairly even, and I would say Australia are probably unlucky to have not scored.
Yeah, I think the Aussies would be unhappy they don't have at least one goal on the board at the moment. But again, hats off to the Colombians for doing some really good defence. In my opinion, the Aussies probably just pressed to try and score a goal when they probably should have recycled it back at the top of the centre channel and allowed their numbers to bring it in as opposed to one guy versus one. Those 50-50 contests are always very, very tough to guarantee you're going to score from. As you can see, the Australians doing some good defence here as another call is made by the referees. It looks to me like he was playing advantage for the Colombians on a gloving by the Australians, and it's going to be another advantage puck right in front of the Australian defensive goal here, Ian.
Yeah, one of the Colombian tactics is to put 3 players on the puck and just look for a concerted drive towards the goal, looking to smash the puck in. Let's see if they do that.
Yeah, they have carried it in, and there's one guy on the puck, 4 guys surrounding him, so they essentially committed 5 dudes in there and 1 guy to cover. Looks like it was advantage or maybe breaking, I think, in this case. A warning to the Australians for breaking. It's going to be another advantage puck for the Colombians, again, right in front of that defensive tray of the Australians there, Ian.
So because they broke there, the puck would have been moved to the centre of the pool, and Colombia has a great advantage here as they look to drive again, keeping it very tight, but Aussie seems to have managed to push it out initially. Colombia get it and curl back to the far corner.
The buzzer has gone again. It was a good defensive move there by the Australians. It looks like it's going to be an obstruction. The referee is looking for someone. Looks like it's going to be against Australia. An Australian is swimming to the bin. It's going to be number 2, Josh McKenzie, called on obstruction. He's going to spend 1 minute in the bin. One of the Colombians was calling for another white stick, so the Aussies are not going to be happy about this. They're one player down in deep defence as again the advantage puck is taken, and they're doing some desperate defending. I think the Colombians might have put the puck in the tray here. Let's see what the refs say.
They say no goal, and it looks like it was a headshot.
Well, yeah, they're saying headshot, but no goal definitely. Interesting if it was a headshot. You would expect a Colombian player to be sitting in the bin. It is half-time, and the Aussies are going to swim down the other side. There is a bit of chat going on with the referees, rightly so. So I think it's Richard Cleary is asking the question of the refs. I'm not sure if it's a headshot. Sometimes we get confused between headshot or unsportsmanlike. Maybe if the referee thought it was slightly unsportsmanlike behaviour, he's just warning the Colombian players to not do that and not binning someone. So probably a good question by the Aussies there, Ian. But anyway, in the end, the Colombians leading the charge 1-0 at half-time here in this very close match, Ian.
Yeah, Colombia very lucky, or very unlucky that the time ran out. Australia was very lucky that time ran out in this first half. But Colombia, after getting that first up goal, came back in that first half, put a lot of pressure on Australia, and we're really, really fighting. So Australia will be looking to get some deep breaths, get some fluids into them, try and settle down a little bit. I mean, they weren't allowed to play their game. They were getting a few little breakouts, but it's still anyone's game, and I could see either team winning at this stage, Stu.
Yeah, I think it's still anyone's game at the moment. As you said, Ian, certainly in that last 5 minutes of that first half, the Colombians put a lot of repetitive pressure on the Australian defence. The Aussie defence just managing to hold out that second Colombian goal. So they'd be happy to go to this half, only 1 goal down. You can see there, Coach Nick Martin talking quite vigorously with his players, just trying to solidify the game plan, trying to get their minds in the game, trying to get these guys playing as one in the water there, which I'm sure the coach Marque for the Colombian team is also doing with only 50 seconds remaining in this halftime break. Bit of a recap of that first half. The Colombians coming out of the blocks with a lot of energy and just managing to get 1 goal ahead of the Aussies. And then basically the Australians came back hard, put a lot of attacking pressure on the Colombians, but the Colombian defence just proving too strong for the Aussies to get even with any goal in that first half. And then the Colombians finishing in style with a lot of attacking pressure on the Australians' defensive goal tray there, Ian.
Yeah, that's a great summary of the game. As we go into the last 20 seconds of halftime, I'm looking forward to another 15 minutes of really good action here.
Yeah, I mean, a really exciting first half displayed by both of these very capable teams. It's going to be very interesting to see how the refs stamp their authority on this second half. They certainly got very involved. You can see there, Josh McKenzie still spending some time in the bin. So Australia will start this second half 1 player down as they scream onto the puck and just win that strike against the Colombians. They dictate the movement of the puck over to the far side there. The Colombians very quick to meet them on that far wall, and no real advantage being gained by either team here as they zig and zag. The Colombians looking like they're establishing a fair bit of pressure. But number 10, my apologies for Colombia, Felipe Pernay, I think is spending some time in the sin bin as well there, Ian.
So that must have been that dangerous shot or unsportsman behaviour we saw before. So both teams down to 5, probably looking to not make too many mistakes, trying to keep possession, try and keep some drives with plenty of support coming in from behind, just to try and set out this time and wait till you get those players back in.
Yeah, that's right. As Josh McKenzie gets ready to join the play again, you can see the referee taking him onto the side of the pool deck. He's going to slide in and immediately go back into that fullback position for the Aussies. As you can see, the Aussies are just trying to establish some kind of competitive advantage on the Colombians, but the Colombians doing an excellent job of controlling the play here as the play comes out to this near side wall there, Ian.
Yep, they come out to this near side wall, and then just before getting into the wall side channel, they curl and look back to go down the middle of the pool. but Australia seems to maintain possession. Here they are looking to get some support. Looks like a couple of substitutions going on there, getting some fresh legs in, and they're looking to drive, but looks fairly evenly contested here. A lot of Colombians down, a lot of Australians down, and the referee seems to be playing an advantage and is now called.
Yeah, there's a stick infringement called on the Australians, so it will be an advantage puck for the Colombians right underneath the sub-bench for the Aussies. Interesting enough, when the Aussies cleared that puck to their sub-bench, so they got those subs going, they really did take their time to sort of press forward with the puck at all. I'm not sure if that was because the Colombians were just sitting on the bottom outside of the camera angle, but a really nice swerve and a very energetic drive there by the Colombian attackers. The Australians pushed to their limit to try and defend this big press on the tray by the Colombians there, Ian.
Yeah, that was a great lot of pressure provided by the Colombians there. They're looking again to drive, but Australia managed to sneak the puck away, have some bodies down.
Yeah, they ripped that puck off the Colombian attacker, and they did do a good job of getting a couple of metres away from the back wall. The referees have called another infringement. They're saying dangerous flick for number 10, so that's going to be Richard Cleary spending 2 minutes in the sin bin for a dangerous flick. The Colombians are going to be pretty happy with that advantage and an advantage puck there, Ian.
Yeah, it looked like Australia were trying to get possession, but Colombia back to 6 now and Australia down to 5.
Yeah, it's funny how this game works. All it takes is just one moment, one decision where you decide to launch that puck and it goes too close to someone's head. The referee's obviously picking that up, and the Colombians very quick to capitalise on Australia being one player down, and they go 2 goals up against the 0 for Australia. And I'm pretty sure that was player number 1 there, Jordan Ajala, scoring the second goal for Los Colombianos. They'd be pretty happy with that as they take a 2-0 lead in this game here, Ian.
Yeah, it was very quick action, and after a lot of pressure, Colombia managed to score.
Yeah, they are applying a lot of pressure on the Aussies here as the game kicks off again. You can see the Australians swimming out there, just taking their time, maintaining their structure. Not surprisingly, they're one player down, so they probably won't want to overcommit on the puck at all. They definitely want to keep their defence nice and strong against this very vigorous, very energetic Colombian under-23 team here. As you can see, they've got the puck in the centre of the pool, and they are putting on a nice attacking drive all the way down the pool. The Australians desperately trying to get that puck out of that centre channel. As the buzzer goes, it looks like the referees are going to throw a Colombian for 1 minute, number 13, Kui Upegui, for obstruction. So Kui's going to go spend a minute in the sin bin as well. The Aussies will be pretty happy with that, and that's definitely going to relieve some pressure for the Australians there, Ian.
Yeah. I was wondering if these infringements earlier in the first half were going to take some effect in the second half, and it looks like they have. Colombia very lucky to have a 2-goal lead right now. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, that's right. They are 2 goals up, and they'll be very happy with that. As you see there, we've only got 10 minutes remaining in this second half. The Australians taking the puck over to the far side there. As you can see, the Colombians rotating hard. The referee's playing a little bit of advantage and then calling an infringement, stick infringement, against the Colombians. So again, they were pulled back, and the Aussies have a quick sub, get a fresh player in there. It'll be interesting to see how long the Australians keep it on that far side. I haven't really seen the Aussies try and open up the game that much in this game so far. When they were looking dangerous in that first half, they definitely were swimming some good angles as their Richard Cleary, their 6th player, rejoins this game now, Ian.
Yeah, let's see if they can make that extra man make an advantage. Australia don't seem to be playing their game. Typically they look to swing the puck, look to swing it wide, and with quick passes to make that space on the outside. I mean, this pool is 15 metres wide.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can see there the Aussies did bring the puck as Emmanuel Zapata, number 4 for the Colombians, is going to go spend a minute in the sin bin for, I think it must have been obstruction. He was definitely close on the heels of that Aussie forward, I believe, who was on the end of that Australian switch. So now the Colombians are going to go two men down. I think Kui is about to rejoin the play, though, so they'll probably only be 2 men down for a period of seconds as the Australians try and press and attack an advantage. Really, they need to commit a bit of momentum onto that back corner and then swing it around. The Colombians are just way too strong if they stick on a straight line between where the puck is and where the where the goal tray is there, Ian, is a stick infringement call against Australia now.
So this will relieve a little bit of pressure for the Colombians, allow them to get some subs in, and just take a moment, because Australia was applying a lot of pressure there.
You can see the three forwards of the Australian team there setting up nice and straight, just trying to counteract any Colombian attacking pressure that come out of that advantage puck. It's a very nice sort of recycle of the puck back through the centre channel there, and the referees have called up an infringement on the Australians. So we're just waiting to see the number here, but an Australian player, number 9, I believe, Andreas Londono, is going to go spend a minute in the bin for a deliberate stick infringement there, Ian.
Yeah, so very interesting here. The Colombians getting time periods for obstruction, and Aussies getting them for stick infringement. So.
Yeah, that's right. Andreas, interestingly enough, is originally from Medellin, so he's actually a Colombian who's living in Australia and playing for the Australian under-23 team, so he knows all of these Colombian lads very well. And interesting that, unfortunately for him, he just got pimped on an infringement there by the referees. There is another infringement being called by that far side ref there. Again, a stick infringement against the Australians, so the Aussies definitely want to be careful just how many of those stick infringements they start throwing around in the court there, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, very interesting that the last one had a player send out. It may have been a more deliberate attack, and the player wasn't actually going for the puck, or wasn't actually able to, look to be playing the puck closely, whereas the last one may have been fairly close to it. So
yeah, that's right. I think Nick Martin, the Australian coach, has called a timeout as the Aussies are still 2-0 down to this very energetic and very strong Colombian team here. As you can see him swimming over, he's already had a chat to the guys in the sin bin. Sorry, not the sin bin, the sub bench, and he's going to have a chat to the guys in the pool now, and you can see Marque there, the Colombian coach, doing the same thing for his guys. So the Colombians with 5 in the water at the moment, I think, or actually, no, sorry, that's 6, with the Australians down to 5. With Andreas Londono still out of the water. It's going to be a Colombian advantage puck. The Aussies under a fair bit of pressure. They're going to have to come up with something pretty special to draw those 2 goals back in these last 7 minutes here, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, the last time the Colombians had a man advantage, they made it count and scored a goal. So they'd be looking to get another goal. A 3-goal lead would probably put this game to be fairly safe, I would say. Even right now at 2-0. While Australia have been down in their end, it doesn't look like they're able to score. So it looks like a referee is calling out an Australian for obstruction.
Yep.
And now an Australian is going into the...
Yeah, so obstruction now for the Aussies, and they're going to go another player down in deep defence. They're going to be 2 players down for this free puck, as Andreas Londono, number 9 for Australia, is still waiting to rejoin the game. So 4 versus 6, advantage to Colombia. They drive straight through the middle of these Aussies. They press a very strong advantage. The Australians desperately trying to keep this puck out. You can see all the Colombians except for one on the bottom. They've basically just sort of very nicely controlled that bottom area there as the referee on the outside of the play has called an obstruction foul against Colombia. And I believe that's going to be number 13 for Colombia. Kuyu Pegui is going to go spend 2 minutes in the bin for what the referee has called deliberate obstruction again there, Ian.
Yeah, so it looks like the referees have started escalating the time penalties here. Typically they start off at 1 minute. Then they've got the option to escalate to 2.
Yeah, that's right. They have escalated it, and Kui has actually spent already a minute in the bin for obstruction. So he is spending 2 minutes in there now. So unfortunately for him, he won't want to be out of this game for too long, and the Australians have definitely got a little bit of pressure taken off. However, in this second half of this game, the Australians really haven't been able to generate many, if any, quality attacking drives on the Colombians. So again, the Colombians are pressing an attacking advantage here. Again, the referees join into the fray. They call an infringement on the Colombians for a stick infringement. No one's being thrown out. It's an Australian advantage puck. Let's see what the Australians can do here, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good opportunity for Australia. They've got the man advantage. It looks like some confusion over the restart.
So the Aussies choosing to switch it over the other side, but they're chased hot on the heels of that last defender for Australia, and a Colombian forward basically just swimming very fast over to to stop any kind of attacking advantage that the Aussies might have been able to generate by that switch move. It's going to be interesting to see if the Australians leave the puck on that side, if they bring it over. They are one player up at the moment. The Colombians coming on a good drive straight down the middle of the pool. The Australian defence desperately trying to get back there to stop this drive. The Colombians have got good numbers around the puck, and the Australians drive that puck out to the far side of the court and re-attack, or counter-attack, I should say, down that far side they're in.
Yeah, I mean, Colombia, when they went across for that Aussie swing, they looked to just contain it. I mean, they didn't seem to be under a lot of pressure. They were able just to follow the player across and contain it. I mean, even though seemed to be a fast pace to this, Colombia seemed to be having the bodies down, getting the players down and support.
Yeah, that's right. They were definitely up to the challenge. They definitely have the speed to be able to keep up with that movement. The referee is binning number 7 here for Colombia, who's not happy about it. He's sort of putting his hand up. Santiago Morales, he's always a passionate guy. He doesn't leave anything out of the pool. So Mora is going to go spend a minute in the sin bin. He joins his compatriot there, Kui, who's just about to rejoin this game with just over 3.5 minutes remaining. The Australians take that advantage puck, and again, the pressure is on the Colombians, but they're certainly doing a good job of keeping those Aussies out with just over 3.5 minutes to go in.
Yeah, and while they started off with 4 at the beginning of this advantage, that other Colombian player coming in will be a certain, nice relief for the 4 of them in there.
Yeah, one thing the Aussies are going to have to watch out for is when Kui rejoins this game. He's a very fast lad, so he's got a lot of physicality. The Australians are going to get another advantage puck, but I think it's going to be 5 versus 6 now. Kui is back in the water. It's going to be an advantage puck for the Aussies in the deep attack, so deep defence for the Colombians. The Australians are going to have to put this goal in the bin if they want any chance of drawing this game up and having any chance of winning this match here, Ian.
Yeah, and you see everyone on both teams going down initially. It looked to be a flick to the near side corner of the goal, but Colombia managed to have the defenders down and just stopped it.
Yeah, they did, as the Aussies drive a good 45 off the wall, but they're met in the middle by a whole bunch of very energetic Colombians. A big drive by Australia here. They got it in the centre channel. There is a Colombian in there who's just reefed it off, and he's driving it back out the way that it came. He's got some numbers around him. The Australians retrieve possession, go outside of the Colombian structure and dish it to an inside forward. They are trying to drive this centre channel. The Colombians are coming back. It's tit for tat at the moment. Anyone's puck, anyone's game. And unfortunately for the Australians, the Colombians do defend it out into that defensive corner there, Ian.
Yep, and it looks like referee's playing another advantage here.
You can see those players for both teams just coming up, taking one breath and going straight back down. I think the Aussies have put the puck in the tin. If it's going to be interesting to see if the refs have called it gloving. No, they haven't. That's the first goal for Australia. I didn't catch who scored that. I think it was the right wing. And as they swim back, I don't know which of the Australians was playing right wing then. I know that there's a couple of guys that it could have been. Might have been Tommy Milner. It could have been Alex Barnes-Cogan. It's sticking on... I'm sorry, I just don't know who scored this, but it is a timeout. I think the Colombian coach... Yep. The Colombian coach has called a timeout. They are going to have a minute off here. And what an exciting game that the Colombians and the Australians... are in here. As you can hear, the guys vigorously trying to find out from the refs who scored that goal. Number 11 there for Australia. So it's actually Mitchell Piccoli finishing off that goal. Well done, Mitch, for a really well finished off goal. Just channeling some of his old man's quality attacking skills, obviously. Arnie Piccoli, Mitchell's dad, has definitely been one of the best attacking forwards that Australia has ever seen. As the Australians trail the Colombians 2-1 with only 1 minute and a half to go in this game. The Colombians are going to come out strong. They still are one player down, I believe. Oh, no, that's incorrect. They are at their full strength of 6. So Santiago Morales is back in the court. 6 versus 6, 1.5 minutes to go. This is going to be very exciting here, Ian.
Oh, yeah, and you see Australia look for a straight drive through the middle, but Colombia manages to repel it and looking to drive Australia back. Australia looking to swing it, but then they go back into the wall channel again. Sorry, into the centre goal channel.
That's right. They brought that puck off that initial counter drive from the Colombians out to the near side here, and they tried to get it to that right winger. He got his hand on the puck, but just got blocked off by the Colombian defender there. The Aussies will get an advantage puck with just over a minute to go in this game. The Colombians are getting pushed back. The Australians are setting up in the middle. it's going to be interesting to see which way the Australians take it here and how they attempt to gain advantage. They've got four guys in front of the puck, one guy taking it, one guy covering it, and I'm sure all the Australians here locally will be cheering these lads on, Ian.
So they look to put a 45 pass out from the centre to that far left wall, but it seems to have come back into the middle again, and a real scrap going on in that middle with no player, and it looks like another call here, this time for chopping against Australia.
Yeah, chopping against the Aussies, so the Aussies are getting pushed back. It's inside a minute to go now, 52 seconds as the Colombians get a quick sub in. Number 10 there, Richard Cleary in the camera, and it'll be interesting to see if the Colombians can actually generate any attacking move or whether or not they just swim it back into their corner. Very nice swerve there by Emmanuel Zapata, number 4. He's a very skillful Colombian as they really try and press this advantage and see if they can get one more goal in before this time runs out there, Ian.
Yeah, but a very different approach there by the Colombians. Only had one player in front of the puck there. So really a defensive-minded effort.
Yeah, that's right. Very true. An attacking move by Emmanuel, but a defensive posture by the Colombian team. But I tell you what, they've managed to attack very well with only 23 seconds to go. It's in the defensive left-hand corner for the Aussies. Nowhere near where the Australians want that puck to be as the time starts to be their enemy. At 15 seconds to go, the Australians desperately trying to generate some kind of attacking move as a big swim starts to hang out, but it's cut down by the Colombian defenders. The refs are throwing a Colombian, I think, out of the water. It's probably not going to make any difference to the result of this game. Colombians 2, Australia 1 with less than 10 seconds to go. I think there's 8 seconds on the clock as the time ticks down. I don't even think the fastest player in the pool is going to be able to swim this puck in here, Ian.
No. It looks like Colombia have managed to control, albeit, very scrappily, the second half of the game.
Yeah, they've done a very good job of competing against the Australians, and a very deserved win for the Colombian guys there. They put a lot of attacking pressure on the Australians all game. They really didn't take their foot off the gas, except for maybe the last 5 or 6 minutes of that first half. All credit to the Australian lads for taking it all the way to the end of the game. They can definitely hold their heads up high. They definitely did compete this whole 30 minutes against those very ferocious Colombian team. And 2 versus 1, very tight match, and I'd be very surprised. It's anyone's guess if these guys play again in the finals, which way the result's going to go there, Ian.
Yeah, finals underwater hockey is very different to round robin. So, I would suggest that these two would be in the semi-finals. But it looks like it's going to be a very top 5, tight 5 or even 6 teams in the top.
Yeah, that's right. And just looking at the live chat as from this game, we've got Astro Boy 2 saying Ma Boy Khan, Jamie Adolfo Garcia saying Eso daba expulsión la Colombia con está amonestado por obstrucción y carex TJJJ. I don't even know what that means. He's just putting a whole bunch of random stuff on there. Casey Hockey saying go Aussies, and Astro Boy saying go Aussies as well. Obviously the Australians going down 2-1 against this Colombian team. So congratulations to Colombia. Commiserations to the Aussies as we go poolside to try and speak to a couple of these quality competitors before this next game kicks off. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you again poolside.
Santiago, ¿cómo te sentiste después del partido?
Un partido de bastante intensidad, pero todos muy tranquilos, confiando en las indicaciones del profe para sacar un partido exitoso adelante.
Se nos estaba poniendo muy apretado al final con tantas expulsiones, ¿no?
Sí, bastantes faltas en contra y un gol ya casi faltando los últimos 2 minutos, pero supimos manejar el partido y logramos defendernos bien del último ataque australiano.
Santiago, ¿qué viene para Colombia en estos siguientes días?
Bueno, viene el partido contra Estados Unidos y contra Sudáfrica. Consideramos que son equipos que están trabajando muy bien y esperamos conseguir los puntos clasificatorios para conseguir un buen puesto en el round robin.
Vamos por la de oro, Santiago.
Vamos por la de oro, claro.
Vamos por la de oro, Colombia. Felicitaciones, Santiago.
Gracias.
So I'm here with the Australian captain, Josh. That seemed to be a very frenetic and fast-paced game.
Yeah, that's right. The Colombians bring a very fast-paced game, and it's hard to maintain that intensity against them. So they did a really good job there.
2-1. It looked like it could go either way for quite a long, part of the game. You just couldn't score a goal, while the Colombians were down to 5 players or even 4.
Yeah, that's right. We had a few opportunities and just couldn't quite put it in. So, well done to the Colombians for keeping us out. They did a really good job. And I guess we just need to improve for next game and make sure we can score.
So who have you got next coming up?
We got GB and France tomorrow, so that's going to be a big day for us.
All right, good luck for those.
Thank you.